Yeah. I'm having problems. And we're getting to it. How are you guys? How is everybody? Hey, I'm 50. That mother. Hey, so many people wished me happy birthday yesterday on Facebook. Thank you so much. It was so awesome. And if I was to, respond to some, other people would get upset that I didn't respond. I mean, there's just no way to respond to them all. So thank you. I'm responding now. And I do want to say Ronald Foos, he joined Patreon yesterday. Or was that? Yeah, that was either over the Friday, I can't remember, but yeah. So, and Rhonda Miller, what a nice gift from Rhonda Miller. There were other people that gave too. Donnelly and Gwen, thank you, everyone. Clint, it was a nice birthday present. And thank you. I am like on cloud 9 because it came. Marty did this. Marty's the publicist. Look at that. I mean, I don't know if you can focus in on it. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. I wanted it to look like a harlequin, but the skull kind of offsets it. But yeah, look at that. The two-headed skeleton right there. The back. Yeah. Yeah. So who we got in here? Yeah, I'm like giddy, I'm sorry. Hey, we got Glenn Orgel on tonight. Man, wait to hear what we got to talk about, like time travel. That that needed to be in the title. Time travel. Did John travel through time? Biblical time travel. Glenn Orgel seems to think so, and he's going to bring his argument. No, it's not an argument. It's wonderful. Wait till you hear it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And can you hear me all right? I don't have any music tonight. I mean, it aggravates me. Titus Pulo, Trevor Lindsay, Frederick Newcomb, Mockingbird J. Yeah, I can't do much more with this messy, it's like, hey, all the junk and the crap going on. I tell you, I have never seen such oxymoronic elements of society where people wanting to defeat racism with racism makes no sense at all to me. I had stuff lined up that I was going to show you, and I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to show that stuff. But just let me tell you that there is a whole group of people who want to exterminate you. And I tell you, honestly, and I could get a lot of backlash from this, but honestly, white people are going to have to become a protected class if we're not careful. The hate crimes are going to occur. I'm telling you, conservatives are going to have to be a protected class. See, if you're not going to be able to do that, it's going to have to be, and then, fair this. Oh, man, let me tell you, I'm so fed up with it. So fed up. It's like I've never. I mean, folks, everything is being revealed about this country. Don't you realize that the state of the mental capacity as a macrocosmic corporation, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. It has to be that. It has to act like that. We're like a giant. It's turned into a giant HOA. And everybody's fighting over everything and giving and taking, and nothing's getting done. And I'm telling you, I am telling you that these angry people, the ones that are really angry, the ones that are like they are real, not the fake, not the actors, not Antifa. I'm talking about the ones who are mad as hell. And I will tell you, they have every right to be, because it doesn't matter whether you believe that the man that died was George Floyd or not. It does not matter. What you think and believe does not matter one iota. But you need to know that someone died. And that man did not look like this. I'm telling you, when they put him in that car, I think they made a switch when they pulled the other one out. I mean, we have a Masonic operation. I have said that the twins have been revealed. And I showed you the black and white kneelers, Kaepernick, that officer. Chauvin, chauvinistic. That's where we get the word from. And we saw the twins, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the twins. Right. When did the man shave his head? Yeah. See, folks, if you don't understand, if you don't realize, they know you know this. They know that you see what they are doing. They just don't give a damn. They're laughing at you. They are reveling in what they are doing. To them, this is like a how would you say? This is like crap shooting or whatever, gambling. They're having fun with it. Crazy, huh? It's very crazy. So yeah, we're gonna have Glenn Orgel here in a little while. But this, oh my gosh, this, and it is so gorgeous. It's so just exquisite. Like, look at this right here. Look, I mean, such a beautiful layout. Yeah, man, oh man. So the question is do I start? I want to read this as a show on YouTube. The question is, do I do it? Like, I just want to do a little bit right here for you. So just forget about all that for a little while. Just a little while. Listen. The grass is bright in the Angola yard. 25 men huddled together, working out. Some play basketball. There is laughing and jeering. Standing at a fence, hands on the wire, Val stares out. Brennan walks past him. Val lived as a prisoner under the curse long before Angola. He had learned the art of escape on many different levels, and he saw this one, an escape, a way out of both the prison and the curse, killing two birds with one stone, you might say. The only problem, one of those birds was a ghost. The prison from the air Water looming on three sides. Almost in a whisper, Brennan says, "The escape." In a woodshop, a white prisoner hammers, making a box. Brennan continues, "When an inmate dies at Angola prison, there are coffins made by other prisoners." The hammering stops. The inmate says, "They pack 'em up and they ship 'em out." He laughs. Back at the fence line, along the barbed wire, Brennan walks. Val fades to blur behind him, the sun bright. "In the past," he says, "dead inmates were the property of the state, buried along the levee outside the prison grounds. But because of a great flood in 1927, that stopped. When the waters receded, bodies were strewn all over the place. And the town's residents were not going to have any of that. So in the 70s, things changed. Angola contacted the next of kin and they could collect the body." Sweat beads on his face and forehead. Sharpened carved face, staring through the barbs. He continues, "That is, if they want it." A man and woman sit facing one another, bulletproof glass between them. Speaking low in a complacent calm, as if not to disturb them, Brennan says, "We believe the plan was made months before his death." The guard left Val and his wife. The guard left Val and his wife Alex alone so they could talk. Val waits until the door shuts, telephone in his hand, teal green, close to the glass. He says, "Remember that old woman in Haiti?" He looks side to side and past his visitor, paranoid. "Laissez en pièce Sedon. Remember? It is a potion to make a zombie. That's what she said." Opposite him, Alex did not move. Blonde, eyes bright, blue and dimpled cheeks. Alex with this stuff, he swallows. A person can be mistaken for dead. Do you understand what that means? Alex puzzled, then eyes widened in realization. "Val, are you "Yes, Alex," he interrupts. "I got a message out to a lady I know. It came back saying she knows of a Haitian woman and a Zili who can make it. She lives out in the swamp way back behind Lake des Almonds. This is our chance, baby." Walking in the same cemetery as before, a tall woman, elegant and wearing glasses, blonde hair. A maroon graphic in the lower left corner with white letters. Jane Chabonneau, forensic anthropologist. Those who knew Val say he was extremely claustrophobic and would die in Angola before he'd ever let himself be buried alive. Yet, we believe that's exactly what he did, with no oxygen, no food, and no escape. And we're going to prove it. Man. See, I had to back up and make it perfect because I want to edit this. I want to make little videos for shorts. So I want it to be good so I can edit it out and make it perfect. So how's it going? Marty Moose, by the way, not sure what's up with the duplicate chat on the screen. Is it duplicated? It's not duplicated to me. Yeah, Charlotte, she says, "Do it with great minds and literary insight, sir. We love you." Thank you. I want to do that, Charlotte. We need to talk and just schedule it. Jerry, you still haven't got yours yet? Someone got theirs, sent me a a message that they got theirs. So I really appreciate everyone who has ordered it. Like I said, typically this demographic doesn't read much, and so uh, so I get it. But if you do read it, if you get it, please leave a review after you read it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just so proud of it. It looks like a movie. It is a movie. I mean, it's supposed to be like a movie. Literally, the writing. They're filming a movie. Well, just refresh your page and maybe it'll stop duplicating it. Oh, Clint got his? Cool. Vincent Peretti, yep, 50. 50! 50! Hey, before I call Glenn, I want to talk about this. You got to understand something that no one is thinking about, and you got to understand what's about to happen. Listen, I know that everybody is up in arms against Google and Twitter and Facebook, the way they censor us. But you got to understand something, that they are a privately owned company. They have a right to do the business the way they want to. You get caught up in this, making it where they can be sued. That means that the government is going to step in and force a private company to do something. You understand what that is? That is socialism. Folks, and the reason why you say, well, there's mines and all, it doesn't matter. The moment that someone is able to sue, social media is gone. YouTube is gone. With my voice, I will not be here anymore. You've got to understand that. You've got to. That there's a reason Barr is hesitant on all this stuff. This is one thing that I am not backing down on. I am telling you that the moment social media has to be held accountable for what other people do and say, and the moment that they are mandated to conduct their business a certain way, there's nothing that stops them from doing that to you. Remember the homosexual men that bought the cake at the Christian store in Oregon. They did not want to do business with them. What happened? They were forced. They sued them. Now everybody complies, and you have to comply. It's not the good thing you think it is. You got to understand that. I want to show you some pictures. Something that I'm very concerned about. Glenn, I'm going to go ahead and get you on here and call you folks. Like I said, I have no music, so I apologize. Hopefully I don't have a problem getting Glenn. I'm calling you, so let me just check my settings. Okay, that should be okay. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you have your son's headphones?
I have some headphones from my son. Is it clear?
It is. It's perfect.
Okay, great.
At first, it was kind of echoey, and that's why I wondered. But yeah, no, that's excellent. Hold on just a second. I want to show some pictures. Did I show you the grocery store pictures? Glenn?
Me? Yes.
Yeah, I wanna show everybody that, and I wanna talk about uh, what's happening with the stock market in food, folks. You gotta go to Noble Gold. Go to Noble Gold, and you got to get some precious metals. I mean, this is no joke. I went into my Winn-Dixie here, and I just want to show you some of the pictures that I got out there. You there, Glenn?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, let me get the screen over there. Okay, that right there. That is the little sticker. Glenn, can you see the screen?
Yes. It's up now.
Okay, yeah. So that is the sticker wherever there's nothing on the shelf. Okay. And I want to show you too, like a few things. Like, okay, I want you to look at all the black stickers. See them? We're just outside of New Orleans. We are a nice sized town. There is no reason. We're not far out in the country. There is no reason that we should not have food. I mean, there is. We know why there is. But what I'm saying is there's a reason. So look at that. See them?
Yep.
Notice that they're like canned goods. So you have more fresh vegetables available, but the canned goods, it's really depleted. That's
Yeah, it
not
was part of what everybody was grabbing off the shelves back in March and April.
well, yeah. But you'd think that would be back, that we would have that replenished.
Well, yeah, except for the factories put out so much food a
Okay.
month, and it's really hard to catch up when everybody goes in and takes everything off the shelf.
But we've been a month out of it. That shouldn't be an issue with us.
Yeah,
If
it should
if
be a
you
lot better now than it is.
the picture here, I just wanted to show that practically every item on every aisle, this is not just with the cereal, every item is buy one, get one free. They're trying to make up for the loss. They're trying. So right now, folks, you should be able to get some good deals on food. You got to realize that, like dried foods, it's things that they're trying to move it to bolster their sales because they are running out of product. So you may want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it's a good idea to stock up. You know, every time you go to the store, just get a little extra of
Yeah.
canned goods and dry goods and stuff like that, because at the rate things are going, there's not going to be food this winter.
Yeah. Well, if you look right there, that's the refrigerated meat, like not more of the processed meat area. Same thing. So drastic cuts are being made to try to sell stuff, but yet they're losing money because they don't have the stock. I wanted to show all of these all these stickers, these tags are all buy one get one free. They're just everywhere. And something that you kind of need to be aware of, folks, is the Federal Reserve. They are why the stock market is doing anything. We had record highs last week, and then all of a sudden it drops again. When we had those highs, that is the federal government. They are buying stock to bolster. They're flooding the system with money. And folks, you can't borrow your money to bolster your money. That's just not the way it works. The system is fake. It's not even real. I mean, do you realize this? They're using their money to bolster their money. And another thing you need to realize, this is not happening all over the world. It's not. America is being set up, ladies and gentlemen, for a war. We are being made weak so that we can be invaded. You've got to understand that. It's not getting any better. If you feel it's getting better, it's only because you've turned off the news. And that's good. But you better get some gold and silver. And ladies and gentlemen, the market is going to crash. It is going to, I mean, it's not going to be real. If it doesn't crash, a loaf of bread is going to be like $20. The deficit is closing in on $30 trillion. And they're just trying to fight something that we believe isn't real. Something's going on, right? It's being destroyed from the inside out. Oh, Sean, you're giving up. Well, you say God wins. Everyone says, but God wins. That's like the buzzword. God wins. In the end, God wins. But have you read the book? Do you understand what's going to happen before God wins? And whether you believe that you're going to be raptured out of here or not, it doesn't matter. Because you're saying that you aren't worried about the people left here when you get raptured, that they are going to be in hell? Yeah, but Sean, they had every chance. They should have just given their lives to Christ. They had every chance. I don't know about that. They had the chance, yeah, but I don't know about that mindset. I mean, when was the last time? When was the last time that you went to your relatives who you guys, it's uncomfortable? I'm guilty of this. It's uncomfortable to talk about religion in front of. And they're going to hell. But yet, when was the last time I was willing to be made uncomfortable to go to them and talk to them about it? I mean, we're really comfortable. Christians in China are not comfortable. Christians in Arab countries, Muslim countries are not comfortable. And somehow we have been brainwashed to believe that our state of affairs determines what is happening in the end. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you believe. This is a fact.
Yeah, these people are already living through their own form of tribulation.
Yeah. I mean, I think somebody is messing with their heads big time. I think Kim Jong-il, not Kim Jong-il, Xi Jinping, whatever his name is, Xi Jinping over in China is trying to make them think that they are in the tribulation.
Yes.
And
See all kinds of signs around. You see all kinds of signs that may or may not be actual.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's like a script that someone's following and trying to make it happen. That's what's so odd about it all. It is so like it's like a script is being followed. And that's I really believe that it is no like miraculous power of God's that he prophesied what the enemy would do and then him do it. It's him following the script. He has to do it. And out of pride, he will do it. He will say, man, I am going to troll that guy so hard. I am going to act out what he wrote as being a prophecy, because that's how prideful he is.
Yep.
And it's, Glenn, it's almost like the Lord in Ezekiel is baiting him when he says, you were wiser than Daniel.
Yeah. You can hear the Lord just crying out to him, saying, look, this is how I made you, and you still turn against me.
And I made you that way. It boils down to that. That I made you, he says. So those of you who say God wins, he does win. Yes, he does. But read the story. Because you're going to have to do one of two things. You're going to have to latch on to a pre-trib theology, which I'm not against, or you're going to have to accept or latch on to an idea that you're going to go through that tribulation. And I guarantee you, the flesh is going to choose the latter, or the first thing I said, not the latter, because you're not going to want to go through the horror. But, people are leaving this channel just because of a belief. And I'm hoping that some of you can entertain this. Just entertain the idea that we are in the midst of something very, very, very significant. And if you close your eyes to it because something hasn't happened yet that you are so sure is going to happen, I would reassess your facts and not think too highly of yourself, because you're dealing with a 2,000-year-old document written in a language that 99% of most people do not speak, because it's 2,000 years old. And if you're willing to stake everything on what you believe on that over a friendship, come on. That's what I'm saying. The friendship should be more important than you're holding to a doctrine that there's not much support for. Just saying. And that you should, if you are a truther, you will be prompted to at least love your brother and accept him. And know that one of us have a 50% chance of being right. And that is crazy. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that we would be talking like this today? That people would be making memes saying, which chapter of Revelation are we on today? The fact that Benjamin Netanyahu is wanting to put a chip in every single Israeli and Palestinian, for that matter, starting with children first. The fact that we're looking at a vaccine that we are convinced is the mark of the beast because of electronic devices that are in that mother. Or this cryptocurrency mining device, it's a tattoo that mines cryptocurrency off your energy that people can buy. Look it up. We're talking about a tattoo that stamps on your freaking wrist. And we're sitting.
There's even stranger things than that they're working on.
Yeah. Yes, this is the future, folks. We're here.
You just look up transhumanism.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
What
yeah.
that's all about.
Oh, yeah. And, well, just look at it. I mean, now this whole no-touch stuff, right? Now you go into a restaurant and they got that cube-looking thing on the table and you scan it with your phone and you get your menu right there. It's great. Nobody thought of it before. It took this change. This is the evolutional curve in man to bring about what they want to do to us. And it's not to kill us. It's maybe not all of us, some of us. And it's not even to keep us from working. Because you got to work to make them money. Because you the slave, baby. You're not the... You ain't supposed to be having a vacation. You the slave. And I tell you what, have you heard all the buzz about the Robin Hood investors? These cats, these young kids that are making tons of money. My son, for one, they're not going to let that stand. They got to destroy those kids' money. No way. No way.
Anytime there's a pot of money, they figure out how they're going to get it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look what they did to retirement.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're setting these kids up with a lot of money. The kids that are going to accept socialism. It's easy to accept socialism if you're a millionaire. Think about that. That's why actors and all these people who are loaded are for socialism. Because you're the drone, man. You're the slave. You're the worker bee.
Yeah, what they have planned is for us and not for them.
Yeah, dude. What that is, those actors, they get to live out their fantasies and be different people. That's what that stuff is. That's all that acting is. It's pretending. And they do make a lot of money with it because it's sorcery. You got to be good at it. You got it, folks. I'm gonna push it again. You got to get this book. This book, I talk about the synchronicity game. I teach it in this. It's in a story. Plus, I need money. So does Glenn. His link is in there, I think. Part of the reason it took me so long is because I was trying to get all the information from my video description. So Glenn, your link may not be in there if you want to Let me see if I got it before we get into it. You got your stuff ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, why don't you go ahead and talk? You're going to try to prove to me that time travel is in the Bible.
Okay. Well, let me get into it then. I think after what we've just been talking about and considering what's written in the Bible and what we've heard about from the Bible, there's a certain level where we seem to not really understand the fullness of what's going on. And there's a lot of stuff that's escaped our notice, and there's some stuff that pastors don't want to talk about because it makes them uncomfortable. Because, oh, you're talking about time travel. Well, we don't believe in time travel,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And they're just talking about the spiritual world is a problem for most pastors.
Yeah, I could just hear it now. Sean's out there talking about time travel now. Now he's talking to the Bible talks about time travel. Oh no. He's starting a cult.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no way.
It's just well, what you're going to tell me is that John traveled back in time.
Okay, so the first thing, actually, it wasn't that John traveled back in time. The first thing that I want to establish is that the prophets and the apostles, when they had what most call visions, they're not really sure what happened to them. They they think they're having a vision or whatever, but I just want to talk about what Paul said in 2 Corinthians 12. He says, he's talking about boasting, and he says, I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago, whether in the body I do not know, or out of the body I do not know, God knows. Such a man was caught up to the third heaven. And I know how such a man, whether in the body or apart from the body, I do not know, God knows, was caught up into paradise and heard inexpressible words which a man is not permitted to speak. Now, here's Paul, that the understanding that most people have is that Paul is actually talking about himself, and he doesn't want to reveal that.
Right.
But this whole idea, he's saying, was he in the body? Was he out of the body? He wasn't sure. He didn't know. He knows God knows,
Right.
but he didn't know what happened to him. Okay? So if we keep that in mind, that, things are going on that we may not fully understand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read, just to get a better angle on this.
Well,
I'm going to read
someone
from my
just said,
book.
someone said, John had a vision. Stop trying to make something out of it that it's not. Enoch was taken up, just like that. That's how it is. I think, though, that.
Okay, well, we're going to see whether John had a vision or not.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because
Let's look at this.
that's when we see quit. That's the thing. If people would do just that, quit making something of what the Bible says that it isn't. And if you did that, if people practiced that, they would be completely shocked of what it says versus what they've been taught. That is a big deal. So the guy or person who just said that, I agree with you 100%. However, don't make something of it that it isn't, because It doesn't say vision. So let's talk. Go ahead.
Okay. So the thing that I was trying to express in my book, in my chapter on spirit, is the fact that we live in a duplicitous world. We have the physical world around us, but we also have the spiritual world around us. And so I'm going to read just a paragraph here from the book. Understanding that God created two realities. The next thing to understand is that they overlap each other.
Mm-hmm.
What we know of the world around us is what we can experience with our five senses. The problem that we have is that all our senses are physical. We see the physical world, we hear the physical world, we touch, smell, and taste the physical world. The experiences that we have all relate to that which is physical. Our reality is based on the things that we can measure physically, physical things. We are so in tune to the physical that we ignore the spiritual world that is all around us, and in some cases, for good reason. Stretch out your hand right now. Your hand is touching the heaven that is all around you. I'm not talking about the city with the pearly gates. I'm talking about the spirit world. And then I say, look, check this out. So the scripture that I have here is 2 Kings 6:15 through 17. And it's Elisha, and the scripture goes, now when the attendant of the man of God had risen early and gone out, behold, an army with horses and chariots were circling the city. And his servant said to him, alas, my master, what shall we do? So he answered, do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Then Elisha prayed and said, O Lord, I pray, open
Open
his
their eyes.
eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha.
Mm.
So there's definitely things going on around us that we can't see. And in this spirit world that's around us, it does not have the same controls like our world has.
Right.
In our world, we have gravity, we have time, we have dimension of space. In the heavenly world, these things are not a controlling force.
Well,
So,
the way it's explained in philosophy is that the material world, our universe, is constructed upon antithetical principles: up, down, black, white, male, female, forward, back, go, stop, liberal, Democrat,
yeah,
left, right. That is the way everything is constructed and was designed. And uh, uh, heaven and hell, however, heaven and hell are opposites within themselves, in and of themselves. For instance, like here on earth, the ease contrasts the dis-ease. Here on earth, up contrasts the down. Up would not exist if it were not for down. It'd be a meaningless bit of movement if there wasn't down. So that's the way it's designed. But in heaven, there's no disease to contrast the absolute ease. There's no darkness to contrast the light. So there's just constant light. It's something completely so different than we can't even comprehend it. It's so different. We can only take what the Bible says to explain this place for which there are no human attributes or things or anything to even comprehend it with. So he reveals himself and this place using anthropomorphic, imagery, things that we can understand, because otherwise there'd be no way to understand it. And the Bible has these two tracks running. There's everything under the sun, and then there's everything from eternity. And those are two tracks that are running simultaneously through the entire Bible. Just like in life, it's happening simultaneously.
Right.
That was a lot. Sorry.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, at least they can see that we're kind of on the same track here with this.
Yeah. Yeah, and just understanding this this antithetical construction of our universe is so important. I mean, that is the black and the white to the Mason. That's the checkered work. That's the way the universe works. That's the yin and the yang. That's why it's black and it's white. But to understand that helps people understand literature and reading and life.
Okay. Yeah, and it helps to understand the Bible too.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Literature,
If you
reading. Yeah,
if all you do is look at the world and then read your Bible, you're missing half of what's in the Bible.
right.
So, okay, let's talk about time travel now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so here I'm going to Revelation chapter 11,
Let me get over there.
and it's just a couple of verses here.
What
1
verse?
and 2.
What verse?
Verse 1 and 2.
I just want to pull it up just so I can look at it with you, and if I see any significant things. Revelation 11. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so starting at verse 1, and this is John speaking, John the Apostle. Then there was given me a measuring rod like a staff, and someone said, "Get up and measure the temple of God and the altar and those who worship in it. Leave out the court which is outside the temple and do not measure it, for it has been given to the nations, and they will tread underfoot the holy city for 42 months, which is 3.5 years."
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a very simple, short section, but ask yourself, why would God have John measure the temple? And, this is where I'm saying there's going to be a literal temple
Right.
that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's why is he measuring it? Well, he doesn't give us the dimensions anywhere in Revelation or anywhere else in his writings. So it doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, just so he would know. But
Right.
because we don't really, there are things that they really didn't understand, and so they weren't really sure of what was going on. And like I said in that Second Corinthians passage, Paul didn't know whether he was just in the spirit or whether he was in his body, and here's John at the temple. So we're seeing him at the end time temple, which we know hasn't been built yet. So, and we don't have measurements. But if we go to Ezekiel chapter 40,
Okay.
starting in verse 1.
Okay, so Ezekiel what?
Ezekiel 40,
Starting in 1?
starting in verse 1.
Oh man.
So I think I'm reading 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. So starting in 1, it's in the 25th year
Wait, wait,
of
wait,
our
wait, wait, wait,
oh,
wait. Ezekiel what?
40.
Okay, I apologize.
No problem.
Um okay, go ahead.
In the 25th year of our exile, at the beginning of the year, on the 10th of the month, in the 14th year after the city was taken, on the same day the hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me there. In the vision of God. Now, this is saying he's thinking he's having a vision.
Mhm.
In the visions of God, he brought me into the land of Israel and set me on a very high mountain. And on it to the south, there was a structure like a city. So he brought me there, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of bronze, with a line of flax and a measuring rod in his hand. And he was standing in the gateway. The man said to me, Son of man, see with your eyes, hear with your ears, and give attention to all that I am going to show you. For you have been brought here in order to show it to you. Declare to the house of Israel all that you see. So, a little bit of difference in what his measuring line was, but in Revelation 11, he it the NASB doesn't give as good a translation of that. Most of them translate it, and even in the footnotes in the NASB, it says a measuring a measuring rod like a reed.
Well, it's Kwane. Kwane. And it is it's a branch, a rod, a shoot, a plant, a stalk, a rod, a measuring rod.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's a measuring rod that he's using,
Yeah.
and and it the information that I have seen says it's like a reed,
Right,
a
right.
measuring rod like a reed. Now, did you bring what I asked you to bring in, or did you miss my did you
Oh,
miss my text?
I was so I did not, but I actually have one in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Hold on just a second. Keep talking.
Okay. So the Ezekiel passage, he's also talking about this measuring rod, the line of flax and measuring rod, which flax is like a reed type thing. So he's what I'm saying is we're looking at the same thing here. We're looking at John has something used to measure, and Ezekiel is saying he met a man with something to measure the temple, and they're both at the same temple because this is the temple that Ezekiel is talking about, and we'll see this towards the end, is not the temple of Jesus' time. This is the temple of the end times.
Right, right, right.
And so, you know, anyhow, okay, take that, pull it out,
Mm-hmm.
and hold it like you're going to measure something. So you see a measuring rod. Now turn it over, turn so that and it's like a reed.
Oh, flat.
Yeah, turn it the other way so that it's facing down and let go of the other end.
Yeah, like it's a thin reed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
it
get that. Yeah,
bends just
yeah,
like a reed.
yeah.
So, but if you hold it the other way, it holds out straight and it doesn't bend
So
like a
yeah,
rod.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like it could be an interesting uh, thing that what he was given was something similar to a tape measure.
Well,
And
they would have used that word for a small piece of like thin wood. That would be
mhm.
normal for them to do. Yeah.
So I just thought it was interesting. I mean, since so
Yeah.
much talks about reed and flax and that it's like a rod, but it's also floppy,
Yeah, well, this says the stem of a cereal grain plant.
which I don't even know what that
Yeah,
is.
it's like it's just a stalk, a shaft, small, a branch. It's not
But if
like
you but if you look at the thing, it's even yellow like a reed. The
Mhm.
color's almost the same. It's just very interesting. So I thought I'd just throw that in there
Oh
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
none of them would know what that it was, and they certainly wouldn't believe that that's a piece of metal sticking out of there.
So Joseph writes, travel probably isn't possible. Seeing backward and forward seem possible, but not traveling. But the thing is we're saying that the Lord can move you however He wants. I mean, we have John. He tells John. Somebody tells John to measure the temple, and all of a sudden, over here in Ezekiel, we have this man measuring the temple. Um, God can do what, we're not talking about time travel with any kind of machine or anything relative to the physics of our world. We're talking about entering the spiritual dimension. Excuse me, spiritual dimension.
Right. And this is a spiritual situation, but they're literally seeing each other. They're literally interacting with each other.
Right,
And
right.
the thing
Hannelore Tepper
is,
says spirit travel. Well, yeah, but I wouldn't call it that. I'm a little too conservative to call it that. You
yeah, I'm
know,
not getting into
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
astral projection here or anything.
yeah, no,
But since this is God's working through these
yeah,
two
yeah.
men,
But I know
this
what
is
she means.
what he's
She
doing.
doesn't mean astral projection. She means something else. But I get it. But I think that we just say that the Lord moved him however He wanted to move him.
Yeah. And this is not of their own will. This is not something that they willed to happen.
Yeah, they didn't step into a pod and say, "Okay, be me."
Right. But the inference from these two passages are that they both met at the temple.
Yeah, I get.
You know, he
Hold on.
talks about
Hold on. I get what you mean. I know what you meant, Hannelore. That's exactly the way I thought you meant it. I get what you're saying. That's what I was saying. I know you're not talking about astral projection.
yeah, no, I'm sorry I brought that up. I just was, putting that out there that it's not that.
Yeah, yeah. Um. So,
So the first thing that we need to realize is that even if God had John measure the temple and John put down all the measurements from the temple, there's no way that the the Jews today are going to look at the book of Revelation and say, that's how we have to build the temple.
right.
But they will come back here to Ezekiel and say, this is how we need to build the temple. And the way
Yeah.
that goes into very extensive detail over the next 3 chapters of Ezekiel of exactly what this thing's going to look like, exactly how big it is. There's going to be 3 floors to it. It's not the single floored temple like you see pictures of. There's a lot going on here. And when he gets to the end in, I think, what is that in? Maybe I don't have that written down. Uh, let's see, I think it's Ezekiel 43 or 44. Let me get there.
Thank you, Deborah. Deborah, thank you. Thank you so much. Keep going. Angel, hey, Hannah Laura, thank you. Sorry to interrupt you, man.
Yeah,
And
okay.
yeah, thank you. I love these guys. Thank you. You guys show me how much you love me all the time, and it just means so much. You know, we're like a part of a family here. If you're just listening for the first time tonight, you know, we're the War Drummers, and we ain't playing around. Go ahead.
Okay, so in Ezekiel 43, this is how we know that this is the end time temple. So starting at verse 1 in 43, then he led me to the gate facing toward the east. And behold, the glory of God of Israel was coming from the way of the east. And his voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his glory. And it was like the appearance of the vision which I saw, like the vision which I saw when he came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the vision which I saw by the river Kabar. And I fell on my face, and the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate facing towards the east. And the Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court, and behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house.
Mm.
Then I heard one speaking to me from the house, while a man was standing beside me. He said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell among the sons of Israel forever. And the house of Israel will not again defile my holy name, neither they nor their kings, by their harlotry or by the corpses of their kings when they die. So this is the Jesus coming on the white horse, entering into the temple and setting up his kingdom. So now we know, as we read through all the descriptions of the temple, that this is the end product. Jesus comes and reigns from the temple because his throne is there.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Satan wants in there so bad, because he wants to sit on that throne and say, I am God. I'm the one you're expecting.
Right. Yep.
So, you know, what I'm saying is these two guys met. They met at the temple, and they worked together to measure it out so that the Jews would have the dimensions of what to build
In the end.
in the end.
That's crazy, man. That's fabulous. Fabulously crazy. Psychedelic.
Yep.
Extremely psychedelic. You don't like that word, do you? Hey, if you know, I mean, you gotta, like, when John sees the sea of glass and all the different colors and all that is psychedelic, dude.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, there's many people that believe that you're breaking down that veil with the psychedelic drugs
Oh yeah,
that
yeah. No, that's not.
I'm not saying whether that's true or
No,
not.
we're not
I
talking. I'm
think it's
not
good
talking about
brain
that. When I
games,
say psychedelic,
but
I'm saying it's like far out, dude. It's like
yeah,
beautiful. It's flowing. It's unlike anything we've ever seen or can even imagine. It's just like what's happening now. We never thought that it would go like this, which is crazy.
yeah,
Folks, it isn't done yet. We have a ways to go with what's happening. You need to go visit Noble Gold. You need to call them 877-646-5347 and convert some of that 401k and IRA to physical gold because you're going to need it.
yeah.
You're going to need it. Look at the bottom of the screen. There's a phone number there. You can also go to noblegoldinvestments.com and request information. Let them know that Deacon sent you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think things are going to be pretty difficult. It's going to get, in ways, it's going to get worse, and then there's going to be a false sense of security.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be very bad for like it's going to be bad. It's going to get bad as far as natural like sickness and things happening. But I would not be surprised if the economy is great. It's just inflation is going to be crazy. And it's going to be easy for you when it comes to food and stuff like that if you take the mark. If we are here when the mark is offered, it's going to be like you can have an easy life if you just take the mark. We'll take care of you. You just got to take the mark.
Yeah. But I believe our eyes will be open to it before it
Yes.
happens.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And if, as I say, I'm expecting soon a spiritual revival where the outpouring of the Holy Spirit is coming.
Well, James
And
Robick said he bought 10 ounces of silver today. Wow, James. I hope you bought it from Noble Gold. Oh. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I'm saying I expect that there's going to be a the end time revival,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's going to be spiritual.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe it's that this is going to be the thing that awakens us to God's reality.
Yeah.
Because the Spirit is there talking to us all the time, and
Yes.
we if you're trained and you know what you're listening for, which is what discipleship is supposed to be all about, then you will know how to walk in the Spirit and when He's talking to you.
Yeah. That's. I don't get out of Revelation what most people do. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I get out of it is God takes us out of the way and He does it because we failed to do it. That we did not occupy when we were commanded. So we had a worldwide event as a marker, just like the flood was a worldwide event, just like the crucifixion was a worldwide event, just like when Adam and Eve fell, it was worldwide because they were the only people on the earth. So
Yeah.
we had a
Well,
worldwide event.
yes.
And it marked the times, big time. And the things that have been happening have just been absolutely insane. If you watch this stuff like like we do, it almost appears as though someone is pretending we're in the tribulation, and they have a lot of power, and they're doing things to make people think we're in the tribulation. That is what it feels like. However, we are experiencing what is called synchronicity. We've heard about this stuff our entire lives, and it's happening in front of our faces. And there's dissonance because some, like myself, was taught to believe that things would happen a little different than they are. But when I set that aside and said, okay, I want to take this fresh, and I'm going to prove myself either right or wrong. And it's weird. It feels like somebody is doing it. Feels like someone is reenacting the end time scenario. And I know that most of you in this audience feel the same way. I know you do. Joseph says, this is not the end of days. It's kind of a simulation of the end, or a proto-apocalypse. Oh, I think it's the end. I think that it's happening exactly like the Lord said it. You know, everyone wants to say, yeah, but there's going to be giant locusts and that sting you like it. It does not say that they're giant. It does not say that. In fact, Dorothy Mills says, Sean, I see synchronicity a lot. Yeah, it's because you were groomed for this time, for this moment. That's crazy right there, Glenn.
Yeah.
That we were chosen to live in this moment.
Yes, and that is very much true. You know, you cannot ignore the fact that God has chosen us to be here for this. You know, just, you know, in Revelation, it even talks about those who have come out of the Great Tribulation. And
more than anyone could count.
yeah, and what is said about them, and it you know, you can just see that God is happy with them, and God is pleased.
Right.
And it's because we, facing the great difficulties that we may face, didn't shrink back and say, okay, well, I'm going to go get the mark, or okay, this God thing's not working out. So, you know, I just don't want to have to deal with this.
Yeah, you know, people say, I'm not going to take the mark. I'll die before I take that mark. I'm not going to die. You know, pray that it's that way. Because I don't think you know what real horror is. Horror is not you starving. Horror is not you getting killed. Horror is watching your little baby starve and get killed. Hey, all you got to do is take this mark, and you can.
Or getting caught.
Yeah, you can.
By them.
Yeah, you. All you got to do is take this mark, and you can get your groceries. A lot of groceries. Don't worry about paying you. We're not going to evict you. We've suspended evictions. No one can be evicted. Joseph said, this is a really hard time to live in. I cannot describe the interior suffering watching what is happening. I'm telling you, you know, I was talking to Titus earlier today. We were talking about, like, what do you feel when you see rioting in your country? That, you know, what do you feel when you hear people talking about hanging white people and hanging people in the streets to get rid of genocide? You know, what do you feel when you see this stuff? It shocks you. In fact, it's the same sensation that you would get if you were to see an angel or a ghost. It's shocking. Who would have ever thought? And in that shock, that is that synchronicity that you are just beside yourself. I mean, it almost shocks you out of your body. If you want to talk about out of body experiences, that is that synchronicity that you're like, this isn't real. This is like a movie. I mean, today I was like, man, I feel like I'm in a movie today. Susie
Yeah.
Stockstill says, I'm pretty excited to be alive right now, possibly to see the end. Wowzers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If people would just entertain what I'm saying for a little while, they would realize the implications of what we are saying. The implications, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are going to get to see the Lord while we're alive. Because I guarantee you, we don't have 10 years left.
No, the timing is pretty close. I mean, if you're going to talk about when it begins, it's a lot closer than 10 years.
Yeah. And that's the thing I want everybody to take home is to realize the complicated nature of this book, and don't be so sure of yourself. You've been taught by a pastor. We all have. So we all have different views. And I'm telling you, like, you're so sure of what you believe, but there are men with doctorates all over the world who don't believe what you believe, and they have a doctorate in theology, and they're Christians.
Hey, James, I see your comment about the red heifer. I'm pretty sure they've already found the red heifer and sacrificed it so that they can cleanse the temple.
Wow. Well, you know, when we're watching Fox News and they say something about that, man, we're going to light up social media. I'm going to be running to this microphone, going live saying, did you hear that? Did you hear it?
Yeah, we're at a point where it's rather hard to believe everything that you see.
It is.
You can't trust what you're seeing on the internet. You can't trust what you see outside your window.
Oh,
It's
they're
crazy.
trying to create a race war now.
Mhm.
Coronavirus didn't work, so they had all that spray and all that tear gas. Oh, they were just spraying, hosing them down with coronavirus.
Oh, I think that the plan always was, first Corona, then
Yeah,
the civil unrest.
yeah. Well, we've been saying a civil war is coming. We've been saying it. We said it weeks, months before. We said it a year ago that a civil war was coming. Who would ever thought it would be a race civil war? And like, yeah, Rhonda Miller says, I'm waiting on them to carry out lynchings. Yeah. Yeah. Especially now that somebody is faking these deaths. Me, I'm not going to go in any city. Yeah, black supremacy is going to happen. It's a shame. I mean, I got a lot of black friends, and they're not like that. You'd think all the all the slavery stuff they talk about and all that. It's not like that here, and that's where it started. Here, and when the ships entered the the southern passage of the Mississippi River, they came up and they first docked in New Orleans. That's where the auction block was.
I think they're busy pushing a race war,
Oh yeah,
but the way I see it, it's really a spiritual war
yeah,
because you cannot be a true believer in Christ and look at somebody and judge them based on the color of their skin. It's just not possible. Not if you're loving the way John described in First John.
Absolutely. And that's why we're going to see evil in the form of hatred. We are going to see the demon of hatred on people's faces and in them.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be pretty. Well, my friend, I think you got anything else? I think we're going to end this.
I'm going to leave it at that. And we can talk about other aspects another time, about chapter 11 and talk of Revelation and about Daniel and the 30th week and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think I don't want to I don't want to exhaust everybody.
Man, the chat is like quadrupling now. I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's been doing it the whole night. I don't know if it's getting in some kind of feedback loop or what.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see.
Oh well, maybe they want to make sure that they don't get sued.
I'm telling you that is people are like too excited about that one, and I'm telling you that is not good at all. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not going to agree to that one.
Now, the answer for it is and always was that conservatives need to build their own systems.
But you see,
that's all there is to it.
But the thing is, though, is if this bill is passed, it's not going to matter,
right?
Because every platform, anybody can be sued. So you're either going to have to let everything go, or hold back.
Right.
Rhonda Miller, thank you for that gift yesterday. That was awesome. But yeah, the only solution, like, there'll have to be no censoring whatsoever. No censoring, which means, imagine on Facebook, it would be the dark web on the regular web all the time.
Yeah, well, like I said to you earlier today, the F word's going to become mainstream because you can't get away from it anywhere on any of the platforms because the Antifa is writing it all over everything on the statues. They're screaming it, and they're trying to do a news report, and it's being screamed in the background. They can't even bleep it all out because then they'll have nothing on the air. So, people are going to get used to it, and it's going to become mainstream.
Yep. I'm going to put this.
Breaking down all of our sensibilities and morality.
Oh, absolutely. And what they're doing is they're getting people to do things they would never ever dream of doing.
Yeah. And that's all that magic. We're talking about the wizards and the warlocks and.
Hey, Susie, here's thank you, Titus, put that in there. Thank you, Susie. Yeah, please, people, write to me. I love to get snail mail. I mean, I pay for the post office box. You got to put something in it.
Okay, you did get my text that you got something coming tomorrow.
I do? In the
Yeah,
mail?
in the mail. So when you get it, you can open up the package, but you have to take the package inside out and wait until you're on the air.
Oh, I have to open it on the air.
Yes.
Awesome. A surprise. A surprise.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, my friend. Well, then I'll probably be calling you tomorrow on the show when I open it.
Okay. It's from all of us. It's not just from me. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
just so you know.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, my friend. We'll see you later.
All right.
Take
All
it
right.
easy. All right, everybody.
All right. Good night,
Yep.
everyone. Love you.
Folks, I don't have any music. Yeah, no music. So I just have to say bye and hang up. Take it easy. You heard my stomach? It's growling. Later. Take it easy. Bye. Good night, Joseph. Thank you. Susie Stassos. Later. Take it easy. Titus James, Rhonda, Peapod, praying for you.